Say hi. Say hi, YouTube. Oh, your hair? You want to style your hair for the camera? You want to style my hair? We look good? Are we ready? Oh yeah. Okay, say bye. I'm gonna have a bath now. Hey guys, it's Tanya here. So I think I may have gotten this whole lighting thing figured out from this angle. So I may still film a little bit from this angle and then of course a little bit from the other one. I hope you guys like it. If you do, give this video a thumbs up so I know that you guys are enjoying the view back here. So today I'm doing a very well-known tag currently on YouTube. I'm gonna do the perfect palette tag. I was actually going to film this almost a month ago in the old house, in the old filming studio. And then with Vegas and everything, this was kind of a tag for me that required some actual thought. So it was like, I was kind of ready to do it, but I wasn't 100% loving my choices. So I decided to scrap doing it, wait, and then film it later. So now I've seen a lot more people's videos and gotten an idea of kind of like what other people are liking. And my choices are actually very different from most of everyone else's. So let's just get into this and we'll start with the first question. So the first question is, which palette that you own has the best packaging? So which palette that you own has the best packaging? And I have to say mine is limited edition. I didn't look at this question as like the best packaging as in most usable. I looked at this as like the prettiest packaging. So I hope that's what they were expecting. I know people have done it both ways, but for me it was all about the prettiest packaging and nothing compares to this. This is the Sephora Disney Ariel palette. First off, this is just the box, the outside box. It's stunning. All of the details in this palette are beautiful. It's all little mermaid heads on the back. And then when you take it out, it's like a little storybook. That's the picture on the front. It's gorgeous. It has like blue velvet and you pull it out and you have this gorgeous palette. So all of the details really like set it off for me. This gorgeous blue velvet, this beautiful little silver pull tab, the Dare to Dream saying, and the picture on the front, which is just stunningly beautiful. Everything about this palette just screams best packaging. So for the second one, it was best color payoff. And that for me was so simple. And it's something that probably a lot of people aren't gonna talk about. For me, it was the Sugar Pill palettes. I have two. I have the Sweetheart one, which has the pink, the blue, the green, and the white. And then I also have the Burning Heart palette, which has the orange, the yellow, the red, and the purple. That's what it looks like. These are the most pigmented eyeshadows I've ever seen in my life. It's not even just like pigmented, but like really, really pigmented eyeshadows. Look at that purple. Can you guys see that? Nothing compares to these in the market for me. I have never found anything quite like these. Here's the pink. Oh, I love these. The next question was the most versatile palette. Now I cheated. I went through everything I own and there was tons that I could have picked, but when I asked myself honestly what was the most versatile, there was two that I picked, so I cheated right there, but the two that I picked are also kind of a cheat. So the first one is my Inglot shadows, and I have 5 of these 20 palettes, and I actually have one that's empty as well, because how I use these is I have them organized by color at the moment, but when I travel, there's the rainbow one, I love that one. When I travel, what I do is I just pull out my favorite colors and I put it all in one of these palettes. So these, as far as versatility goes, I mean every color you could possibly imagine. I'm gonna show you guys the neutral one, and that's the neutral one. So whenever I'm doing a job or working on a film or a wedding or whatever I'm doing, whenever I'm doing work, I can take, you know, 20 of these eyeshadows, stick them in the one empty palette that I have, and I have every color under the sun to choose from, and they're so easy to use. I know a lot of people have issues with the way that the eyeshadows come in and out of these. I don't have that problem. I literally just use the corner of this, pop it down, and then it pops up. So I know a lot of people don't like that about the Inglot palettes because they say, oh, they're so hard to use. I don't have that issue. None of mine have that problem. So this is probably my number 1 most versatile. And my number 2 most versatile is in the same family as that. It's my MAC Double palettes. These are new. They just came out last year. This is what it looks like. This is my colorful one. So this one has like oranges and pinks and purples and blues. Looks like that. And then it has this middle divider that flips over. So like I said, I also have an empty new MAC palette, which is the same. It has the same base, but it doesn't have anything on top. It just has like a plastic see-through. And I will just pick 20 of these shadows, throw them into that, and travel with them. This is my neutral one right here. So for versatility, as far as versatility goes, these are the easiest things for me to grab, you know, or a Z palette. Any kind of like build your own palette, I would say falls into this category for me. And I know in some ways that's cheating, but that's truthfully what I would use. The best for traveling. I really had a hard time like dealing with this one because I have so many different palettes that I love to travel with. But I would have to say this is the one that I've traveled with most recently and I've loved and used the most. This has 12 eyeshadows, a blush, and a bronzer. The bronzer is a little bit on the shimmery side, but the blush is beautiful, and all these colors are so stunning. You have neutrals, you have more deeper neutrals, and then you have some bright colors and some smoky eye colors there. I love this palette, and it's so small. It literally, you can throw it in your purse and take it as carry-on. I love this thing. And you can just get so many looks with this, and the mirror is actually a really nice size too. So this would be definitely my best for travel. My biggest regret. So my biggest regret is this Stila Daydream palette, 22 eyeshadows. This came out, I think it was 3 Christmases ago. It's a really pretty palette. It looks beautiful. It's fun to look at. The problem with this is the majority of the eyeshadows are in such a small quantity that they're very difficult to use. So while I'm sure they're pretty, all of the smaller leaves around this I've never used, and even some of these bigger ones I've never used, because to get a brush in there is actually very difficult. And I find the shades on the outside not as wearable. So this is probably my biggest regret. I wish I hadn't purchased it. Best color names. This one was easy for me. I just recently got this palette, but I've been researching Too Faced palettes for a while, and all of their eyeshadows, hands down, have the funniest names. I would almost call this like the best sexy names, if that makes sense. Anyway, this is the Soft and Sexy Eyeshadow Collection. This is what the shadows look like, and they have names like Fuzzy Handcuffs, In the Buff, Satin Sheets, Birthday Suit, Lap Dance, Garter Belt, Sugar Walls, and French Tickler. So, I mean, as far as a palette goes for naming, I would say that's pretty awesome. The runner-up in that category for me was definitely the Unzip palette from Lorac. I loved the names in that. I love how they're all an un theme, and I think that's really cool. But as far as like the best names, I really love this palette. It's really nice when someone says to you, oh, what are you wearing on your eyes? You can be like, oh, I'm wearing Birthday Suit and Lap Dance. I always get a real kick out of that. My least used. It's sad to say, but it is my MAC, what is this? Antonio Lopez Skeel Eyes palette. This is what it looks like. It's never even been swatched. I'm not sure why I picked this up. I think it was for this gorgeous packaging because it's like a hand-drawn picture on the front. And I love that idea, but I've never even swatched these. I'm sure they're very pretty, and I'm sure I will get use out of them at some point, but I've never used it, so it's definitely my least used. Out of all the palettes I own, this is the only one I've never touched. So that tells you something. So for the last question, it was most used, most loved, and Desert Island. I broke it into 3. I know it's only supposed to be 1. But for me, it had to be 3. I couldn't just pick 1 for the 3 of those things. So my most used, I went through all of my eyeshadow palettes. There was definitely some MAC shadows that are most used, but not in a palette form. So as far as palette form goes, it is my Tarte Big 10 palette. That's what it looks like. This was an anniversary palette. I love this palette mainly because you have such a great color selection. You have purples, you have coppers, golds, blues, browns. I'm always reaching for this, even as an accent color. This is what I always seem to go to, especially the shimmery colors like the copper, the gold, and the purple up here. They're stunning on your eyes. Even this blue is really pretty. So this is definitely my most used palette. My most loved is a new baby in my collection. Before I left for Vegas, I hunted for this. I called every Sephora in my local area. I called every Sephora in Las Vegas to see if I would possibly be able to get my hands on one, and no one had any. I just so happened to be in Sephora the other day because I had a VIB Rouge coupon, and I was just looking around, and sure enough, this was on the shelf. For those of you who don't know what I just held up, this is the Laura Mercier Artist Palette. I think this is called Artist Palette 2. These are the colors, so gorgeous for fair skin tones, and if you like purples, oh my goodness. Most gorgeous purples and browns. A lot of people are comparing some of the colors in here to the Naked 3. I do own both. And I don't know, I don't think they're really all that comparable. I would say that they both fall into that more rosy toned color wheel, but the colors aren't similar. So if you haven't picked this up and you do really, really want it, I know a lot of Sephora's got second stock on this, so you should go and pick it up because it might still be there. And the last one is my Desert Island palette. This one for me was really simple because it is the only palette that encompasses everything that I own. There are other palettes and better palettes on the market that would fall into this category. Like there is a balm palette that I would have killed to have to talk about in this category, but I don't own it. So what I'm talking about is the Crimson Amulet collection by NYX. It was inspired by the movie Dark Shadows. I chose this, I mean the quality isn't bad, but it wasn't about the quality. You get all these eyeshadows, 24 eyeshadows, neutrals and brights. So that's number one. That's a lot of eyeshadows. There's a huge mirror, which is a good thing. And then on this side, you have an eyeliner, an eye primer, 2 matte blushes, 3 shimmery blushes, and 4 lip products that are covered here so they don't get all powdery, and a highlight. I don't think it gets much better than this. This is all in one, and like I said, they're not the greatest quality. Some of them are a little bit chalky. But as far as like if I'm going to a desert island and I know I'm headed there and there's only one thing I could take with me, this would be it. Because I can do everything from this one palette. I mean, this is the complete set. You can do all of your makeup from this one thing with the exception of a bronzer. But if you're on a desert island, you're going to be tanned. You won't need a bronzer. So this would definitely be my desert island palette. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this tag video. It was really nice for me to go through all of my palettes because you guys know I do own a lot of makeup and I have a lot more palettes. But to realize that these are the ones that like sit into specific categories for me, that was really nice to find out. So I'm definitely going to be rotating my palettes more regularly so I can get more use out of my makeup. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in my next video. Bye.